Hey guys, Corey with Faymus Media. Today we're going to be looking at the Nikon 85mm 1.4G. So today we got the Nikon 85mm 1.4G on my Nikon D4, and this is an amazing lens, aperture, a range from 1.4 all the way to 16. Now, the 1.4 is not as sharp as the 1.8 85mm when you're shooting at 1.4. However, when you shoot at 1.8, it's almost as sharp, and by 2.0, they're about neck and neck. You're paying the extra money for the 85 1.4 to have that extra low light capability. This is an amazing lens, and it's a specialty portrait lens, which I use at weddings all the time. So let's take a little walk around on the D4 and see how she performs and see what some of these images look like. Now, the 85mm 1.4G I find best at 2.0. It's the sharpest at the widest aperture. Now, if you want the images to be sharp, but be at the lowest aperture you can go, 2.0 is where you're going to get most of your sharpness. 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, they're not really as sharp as 2.0. And the difference in depth of field is there, but it's not huge. So I normally shoot at 2.0. Again, I'm shooting on the D4, which has amazing autofocus capabilities. I'm going to put the link down there to the review I did on the D4. And discussing all the amazing features of this camera, but this combo is amazing for weddings. Even sports shooters are going to love it. The 85 is an amazing lens. It's worth every penny. The depth of field is amazing. Mind if I take a portrait of you? Get a picture of this guy in the hot dog stand. Excellent. Oh, nice. I'll give you a business card. If you introduce yourself to people and tell them you want to take their picture, most of the times they'll be fine with it. Although I'm going to have a review video on legalities of photography in the streets. The 85mm 1.4G has got the most amazing bokeh I have ever seen. Right now I'm shooting at 2.0. .85mm is really the best lens on the streets. 50mm is great. It's very close to what the natural view is for the human eye. However, 85 will give you that little extra reach when you want to get closer, but not too far of a telly where it looks like you're far away, just pervy peeking. This lens has really quick autofocus. I've heard some reviews that say that it's slow, but in reality, it's actually quite quick. He was shaking his head back where he didn't like me taking his photo. In reality, like I said, on the streets, if you're in public in plain view where you can be seen, your photo can be taken. very nice lens. It also has the manual autofocus override where you can control it manually like all the other Nikons do. Very smooth focus. The lens is overall fairly light, and it feels kind of plasticky on the outside. I don't think there's much aluminum or metal construction in this lens. It's fairly light. It's a well-made lens, but it's not up to the quality of the 70 to 200. This lens does have nano crystal coat, which will help with sun flare and ghosting. It's an amazing lens, and I don't get much sun flare at all, even in the middle of the day shooting into the sunlight. Trying to get you in the natural look, man. Just doing a YouTube review. If you want to pose, I'll take a good one. Cool. Look it up, famousmedia.com. What's your name? I'm Corey. Pete? Cool. Excuse me. Oh, just run us over. There ain't nothing like Manhattan. If we were doing this on the streets of any other city, we'd be beaten up or shot or something. And at 1.4, the Bokeh is just beautiful.
So let's take a look at some sample shots, and as you can see at 1.4, the Bokeh is just gorgeous and such thin depth of field and razor sharp image. By 1.8, you're losing a little bit of bokeh as the depth of field increases, and the same thing with f2, and it's just a little bit sharper. However, the bokeh all the way through these test shots is just amazing. This lens actually doesn't get much better as you stop it down. There is a little bit of a difference, but it performs great wide open all the way to f16. Let's go ahead and compare these images side by side, and you can see that 1.4 to 1.8 is a very noticeable difference in the bokeh and the depth of field. However, the image, when you stop it to f2, you get more depth of field and a little bit less bokeh, but it's just as smooth, and the image doesn't get much sharper as it's already sharp at f1.4. And as you can see at f4, the difference in depth of field is definitely huge, but the image quality of 1.4, in my opinion, is almost as sharp as f4. This is a great lens. The Nikon 85mm 1.4G has 9 groups and 10 elements, 9 aperture blades. The autofocus on this lens is just amazing. It's silent and swift and spot on. I tried many other 85mm primes, including Canon's L prime on the 1DX, and it was very noisy and slow to focus, which truly made me appreciate this wonderful lens. The 85mm 1.4G Nikon is probably the greatest prime I have ever used. Is it worth the increased premium over the 1.8G? Well, simply put, yes indeed it is. 2/3 of a stop faster, creamier bokeh, and shallower depth of field. This truly is the greatest prime Nikon has ever released. It's gonna have Zeiss running for cover. This lens is a gem.
So the 85mm 1.4G is an amazing lens. There's a choice you have to make between the 1.8 and the 1.4. I took a dive and got the 1.4. Money well spent. It's an amazing lens. It gives you that little bit of extra low light capability by stopping down to a 1.4 versus the 1.8. And I am so happy with that decision. This is a great lens. I've been using it for some time now, and you cannot go wrong. So I hope this review has been helpful for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to purchase any of the gear I review, please use the links I provide down in the information box to support my channel and keep the reviews coming. I hope you guys have a good time with me walking the streets of New York and looking at different gear and photos, and hopefully I've entertained you and informed you well. I'm Corey with Faymus Media. Happy shooting.